Hi guys, I've had a few requests for videos on George Orwell. This is a bit about him, a bit about his background, a bit about his writing. So that will tick the box for those that have requested this. It's by no means everything, so check out my playlists on Animal Farm and on 1984. You can subscribe to my website, www.staceyray.co.uk, where you will find those playlists and you can speak to me directly if you want to send me essays. It is absolutely essential if you are doing George Orwell for you to get a copy of the PDF Why I Write. You can buy the book if you want, but actually the PDF is free on Google. Now, he is actually telling you in that why he's writing. So, if you don't want to listen to me in this video, then absolutely go and read that. And the other thing you should definitely get a hold of, again, is free on Google, PDF, is Politics in the English Language, because what he's doing there is telling you about his experiences in India and how these things have massively influenced his works. We'll just take a step back. George Orwell then, he was an intellect. We know that he was extremely intelligent, had a first-class education. However, that being said, he wanted to defend the ordinary people, and that's what he kind of classes them as. And he wanted to give them a voice, and he wanted to expose the sense of injustice that these people feel. Because he was an intellect and he hung around with those types of people initially, he needed to find a way to socialise and interact and get to know those people, dare I say, of a lower social class. And therefore what he done was he got a few different jobs that were kind of, run-of-the-mill jobs. And therefore what he done was he integrated himself in that ordinary people kind of life, and therefore he got a first-hand experience of their views, how they felt, the injustice that they suffered at the hands of the powers that be, the lies that they suffered, again, because of, various things, fascism, totalitarianism, people abusing their positions. So he integrates himself quite well there, and again, this gives him that position as a writer, much like Dickens, to voice how those people feel. He, as I say, is defending the ordinary people, and he is exposing this idea of injustice, and he does this via the exposing lies. Now, in his essay Why I Write, which is why it's essential, he says, I write because there is some lie I want to expose. Now, whether it be Animal Farm or 1984 that you are studying, I mean, the lies in Animal Farm are ridiculous, and they are placed in this all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And again, in 1984, when they get the kind of rules. These lies, when we look at Politics in the English Language for Orwell, he creates this thing called double speak. And that way, what he does is twofold. He gives you the sense of injustice, and he gives you the suffering of the ordinary person, as well as balancing, dare I say, how easy it is for the powers that be to manipulate. He wanted to spread serious ideas, but he wanted it to go to the masses. So if you are Animal Farm, then how does he spread his message to the masses in Animal Farm? He uses a fable. So he doesn't necessarily have to portray a difficult message via humanity. He portrays his message for all to understand through animals. And let's be frank, he's very successful there. And remember, this comes off the back of the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the Germans. So he exposes the suffering of the ordinary people at the hands of these type of fascist rulers, these type of dictators. He also, and I suppose this will go to Animal Farm and 1984 if you're doing that, he kind of alludes to the fact that those, even those with the strongest moral compass and the strongest moral values can and will falter. Yeah, it's just an error of humankind, humanity. We all have that ability to falter, and we see that again firsthand in both of those books. Morality is constantly called into question by George Orwell. Now, the Spanish War, and this is in Politics in the English Language, right, directly and indirectly affects George Orwell, and therefore it's fed through his writing again. Because of the Spanish War, was immediately and staunchly against and opposed to totalitarianism, okay, and he became, because of that, in favour of a democratic socialism, and that is clear in both of these books. So the back of the Spanish War, it hugely affects him. As I say, Politics in the English Language will tell you about that, and it'll tell you about his life in India, as I said, and this incident he describes about the shooting of an elephant. So again, we see his positioning there. We see his positioning for the sense of injustice, to defend the ordinary people. In defending these people, what he does is he also acknowledges political bias, at the same time telling us and influencing us not to lose our intellect, isn't it? So we can hear political messages through these books, we can hear messages from the powers that be through these books, but we shouldn't alter or sacrifice our own intellect or our own political views because of that. So he's very much for the individual as well, isn't he? There is loads in Why I Write, and there's sentences, if you are A-level, that you can lift, because it's essentially giving you what you need for your contextual marks. And the other thing, if you are GCSE and you're doing Animal Farm, the other thing about Why I Write is you can show off in your GCSE essay if you can provide a quotation from the mouth of Orwell himself. Take a risk, give it to your teacher, see what they say, or if you subscribe to my website, send it to me, I'll have a look. How good would it be if your GCSE essay, or even your A-level essay, started with that very line, I write because there is some lie I want to expose. Now, he doesn't just say that in Why I Write. He says, obviously, a lot more about why he writes and his position. And again, lifting that and putting it at the forefront of your essay tells the examiner in one fell swoop, I know this writer, I know what he's doing, and I'm going to show you now in my analysis. All right. As I say, this was a quick video. If you want any more of my videos, there's quite a lot on YouTube, or subscribe to the website www.staceyray.co.uk. I'm also on Instagram at Stacey Ray if you would like to get in touch there, and massive good luck in your studies.